in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, our own Dan Watt is with us, one of our programmers here and one of our top guys on our web team, and his wife, Summer. Hey, how are you?
We're doing great, Dave.
Welcome. Now, Dan, you've been with us, what, 5-6 years?
Almost 6 years.
Wow, long time. Long time to be coding Ramsey code, huh?
Yes, sir.
Very cool, very cool. And you're here to do your debt-free screen.
Yes, sir.
With all of your team members, or some of your team members anyways.
Probably most of them.
Standing around here. Yeah. Well, it's Friday afternoon, any excuse to not work. So, there you go. But, so, how much debt have you two paid off?
Right around $297,000.
Holy! Wow! And how long did this take?
Almost 7 years. 6 years and 10 months.
Okay, Dan, you're kind of quiet because I didn't know that you were like this screwed up. I mean, $297,000. I didn't know you were fighting something this big. I'm blown away. What kind of debt was this?
Well, the biggest chunk of it was our houses.
Oh, you paid off your house?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my gosh. And how much of the $297 is your house?
Our current house was about $150,000 of that.
Okay. All right. And so the house is worth what?
Maybe $225.
Okay. And you guys are how old?
33.
And you have a paid-for house?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's a Dave Ramsey team member right there. Yeah! I love it. Wow. I am so proud of you guys. I was afraid you were going to tell me you had like that much in student loan debt or something.
No.
So most of it was the mortgage. Very
Yes,
cool.
sir.
What was the rest of it?
Well, we sold a house before we moved here, so that was in the low hundreds.
But we turned around and bought our house here when
Sure.
we moved here. So.
Sure. Okay.
We had a car loan we were paying off, and we had
Student
a
loan.
student loan, and then we had a loan that we had co-signed for as well.
Okay. So you've been with us about coming up on 6 years.
Yes, sir.
And you started this 7 years ago. So you started before you started to work here.
Correct.
On your plan. So tell the listeners and me about your journey, about how you started this whole process.
Well, Dave, when we got married, we didn't combine our finances at all. And so, I had my money, he had his money. And when we had our oldest child, I went from working full-time to working PRN. I'm a nurse. And I didn't know how I was going to be able to afford to buy clothes for the baby.
Wow.
Because we didn't combine our finances, and I had no idea how much money he made.
Right.
She was paying for a lot of the household stuff, and I was paying for the house and a couple of the other big bills, but we really hadn't talked about money. I didn't even really know how much she had in debt, and she didn't really know about my financial situation.
How long had you been married at that point?
Just under, right around 2 years.
Wow, that's a really dark 2 years. I mean,
Looking
you guys
back,
you were just stumbling along. So what happened? You couldn't buy clothes for the baby. That was the crisis.
Right.
And that woke you up.
Right. And I'd heard your name before. A few people at church, mentioned your name. And I checked out the book Financial Peace from the library. I mean, I really liked the sound of the title because that's what I was looking for, was financial peace. And tried to get him on board, and he was too smart. He was
That's
too
funny.
Yeah, he was more sophisticated than me, he thought.
Yeah.
And I listened to the show, but then I heard you were going to be in Kansas City because we lived in Missouri at the time. And convinced him to take me to see you because I figured if he could see what you had to say, if he could hear it for himself, that maybe he would believe it.
I think there was a promise of barbecue in there, and she dragged me to Kansas City.
Yeah, I did. I said we can go to Oklahoma Joe's if you
That's some good barbecue. Yeah, there you go. All right. So you went to one of the live events in Kansas City back in the day. That would have been one of the big ones.
Yes.
One of those
at Kemper Arena.
all-day total money makeover events.
Yep.
In the arena. Yeah, like 11,000 people or something in there. Wow. And so then what happened, Dan, in your brain after that day?
Something about it just finally made sense.
Yeah.
We cut up the credit cards. We started paying off the remaining loans that we had at the time, and then started to pile on the mortgage that we had then. And then I heard on the radio about programming positions here, and that's what brought me here.
And you guys moved from where?
Columbia, Missouri.
Columbia, Missouri. Okay. And so, yeah, after you're doing this stuff and then you hear we're hiring programmers, you're like, yeah, I'm in. So very cool. And a short 6 years ago. Well, you're a great team member. Your team members all love you. You're known in the building. Your internal brand is very strong as being very bright and a good programmer, really sharp guy. and we're honored to have you on the team for sure. And obviously you married up, which is another sign you're a good guy. So, very cool. So, Suzanne, after all this time, this was all your idea. I mean, even his dadgum career was affected by you.
Yeah.
That's Summer, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That's, I can't remember my own name. But anyway.
It happens.
So, I mean, you got to be kind of proud. You caused all this.
I did. It was my idea, but I mean, I have to hand it to him because, you know, he was a dad with 4 kids, taking the kids to church and to social activities by himself while I'm working night shift or sleeping during the day. And then he's working all this extra contract work, staying up till midnight or getting up at 5 in the morning, working his lunch breaks. So, I mean, I feel like he's the one that did all the work.
Wow.
He did the hard work, I think.
Very cool. Well, you're a sharp couple, obviously. We're honored to have you as part of our family. And you have a paid-for house and you're 33 years old. You're just plain weird. So what do you tell people when they ask, how did you do that? What do you tell them the key is?
You got to be on board with each other. I mean, early in the marriage, or as soon as you figure it out, you've got to talk about your finances together, and you've got to budget together. And whatever big things you're doing in life, you have to do it together as a team.
Yeah.
And just work. I mean, like I said, we couldn't have done this without the work, with all the extra work, too.
Yeah, you've worked your tails off, both of you. It's pretty incredible, though. I mean, you don't have any debt. Is it sunk in?
I'm still doing some contract work in the evenings, and so we've had some big expenses come up since we paid the house off.
Well,
so
we had to pay off the IRS, so there was that.
Yeah.
And
I think once that winds down, the reality of it all will set in. We've pushed off a lot of big purchases, upgrading her car and doing some other things, and so we're saving up for that now. And then hopefully that'll all wind down and we can kind of take it easy.
Kind of feel the math kick into
yes.
gear.
Yeah.
But we had one cool thing that came up. We had co-signed for a loan and we kind of forgotten about it. And after we paid the house off, we realized this is about the same amount that we've been paying every month on our house. And so we just decided actually it was on her heart to pay that off. It was her sister. So we wrote a check for that the month after we paid the house off. It's one of the cool things we could do once we didn't have a mortgage anymore.
Yeah, very cool. What did your sister do?
I think they were pretty happy.
I think it was shock.
I bet they were freaking out. Very cool. All right, well, we're proud of you guys. Very, very, very well done. You want to bring the kids in? Kids' names and ages are?
Silas, he's 7.
And then we have Hannah, who's going to be 6 next week. Elijah's 3, and Sarah is 16 months old.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Well done, you guys. I love it. All right, $297,000 paid off. House and everything, baby. It's Dan and Summer and the tribe. Took 7 years to do it. $297 paid off. It's awesome. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Here we go, guys.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
I love it. I love it. And his team goes wild. Very, very well done. I love it. Congratulations. You know, it's cool. I'm looking at those little kids. Most of those kids hadn't even been born when they started this 7 years ago. And their whole lives are changed. Their family tree has changed. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's neat. And it's not because he works here. It's because they did the stuff we teach. Working here is just a bonus on top of that. So it's pretty cool. Very, very well done. Oh, by the way, did you hear we're hiring programmers? We can use some more. I love it. Oh, very fun. This is The Dave Ramsey Show. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show. And so you have to break the cycle. You have to flip this thing on its head and make it behave. You've got to get so fired up and wired up that your broke friends think you've lost your mind.